Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the I Voted for Pedro show. I'm Ted. This is Pedro. We are coming to you live on this Victory Monday. Super excited to be celebrating the win over the Seahawks, the Cowboys win over the Eagles, the Niners, first place in the NFC, in charge of their playoff destiny. So great. The Lions even lost to the Bears, which was very unexpected. At least I didn't expect that. So lots of good stuff going on in 49ers land, Pedro, other than the injuries. Obviously there was an injury to Charvarius Ward. He pulled his groin during the game. And then looked like a hammy for Hargrave. So we'll see when they report all that stuff. Or maybe it's already been reported and I missed it. But Pedro, how are you doing on this splendid Victory Monday?
I am really excited, Ted. As a 49er fan, all 49er fans should be jubilant, should be ecstatic with the way this team is playing. They didn't have the greatest game in the world yesterday. There was a couple of things that got them behind the sticks, but in general, we finished off what I think was a pretty desperate Seahawks team, and Drew Lock. He's not a bad quarterback. He's not a great quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback. And Brock Purdy keeps on keeping on. He keeps on doing things. Those go balls, especially that one to Debo, that Debo didn't even think he was going to get. It was his third read. And for a third read, he got that ball out, snappity snap. And it was a beautiful ball, straight in the bread bucket. And Shanahan's got a QB now that just can open up his offense. And you saw what I saw yesterday was Shanahan on the move and Purdy on the move and our offense on the move change the way in which they were going to attack their defense, which I thought was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice to throw to Debo. There was obviously a deep one to Ayuk, a deep one to Kittle. All really nice throws and catches. Getting harder, not to say that Purdy is elite. I had him at 4-7 last week. I'll do my update tonight or tomorrow morning, but I mean, I got to bump him up at least one spot after that game. He played really well. I'd have to say kind of in that 3-6 range where, I think there's about 4 elite QBs in the NFL right now. So if he's 3 or 4, he's probably elite. 5 or 6, probably not, at least right now. But half and half is the best I've been able to say of whether Brock's an elite quarterback or not. I still want to see more. I want to see him win with less, or have more dominant performances, more consistency. But there's just not much downside with the guy. The only times he really struggled was, in Cleveland when the ball was wet and there was no Debo and no Trent and CMC was dinged up. And then, the 2 interceptions in the Vikings game were after he was concussed. And I was pretty adamant saying I didn't think he should play during the Bengals game where he had a couple bad interceptions. And a third one that got called back, and then he fumbled the ball away right after that. But, hard to say he was 100% mentally for that game either. So, again, it's getting really, really hard to deny the greatness of Brock Purdy. People are like, oh, you said he was mid. And I was like, dude, he's played much better this year than last year. And miles better than camp. He was bad in camp. I will stand on that. I was there. I watched him. Throw a lot of picks, a lot of pick sixes, a lot of pickable balls that were dropped, and basically no good deep balls. Everything was short or long that he was throwing deep. So, to beat me up because I had a take in the offseason about him, I thought he was mid, after the end of 2022, because I'm not a big believer in QB wins. If you're a big QB wins person, just look we've talked a lot about Stafford, but another great one is Brady. 2019, everybody thought he was washed. You go give him some great weapons in Tampa Bay, all of a sudden he wins another Super Bowl. Same quarterback, vastly different outcomes. So the whole QB wins thing doesn't play real strong for me. I'm not saying they're worthless. I'm not saying they don't mean anything. I'm also saying they don't mean everything. They mean something, but you got to look at them with context. And yeah, we got Nancy Cameron in the house, nice and early. Nancy, thanks for joining. Great weekend of football. Absolutely. And it was great. I was at Levi's, and it was also great to see not a lot of Seahawks fans there for once.
Man, I can't wait. I've never been to a game, right? And just hearing that you were there, that just it's so exciting to me. But anyway.
Yeah, no, and like, I'm finally 500 against the Seahawks. I mean, not that I played, but as a fan, I was there, Halloween of 2019 when we lost, when McLaughlin shanked the winning field goal in overtime. I was there in 2021 when Jimmy hurt his calf, and we saw the first extended play of Trey Lance for the second half of that game that we lost 28-21. Then I was there for the wild card game last year that we won, obviously pretty handily. And then again now this year for the win that, it's interesting. In my article, I predicted a letdown. I said a letdown, but a win. I said we wouldn't cover. We didn't cover. It was a lot like what I predicted for the Browns game, except for that, we had less injuries against the Seahawks and there were less key injuries, especially we didn't really have any on offense. It was Charvarius Ward and Hargrave, who aren't, getting missed as much when it's Drew Lock quarterbacking for the Seahawks. But ultimately, it was the same kind of prediction for the Browns and the Seahawks, let down, but a win. It's just, I think the injuries of CMC, Debo, and Trent Williams kept us from winning. And the rain, I think, also in Cleveland kept us from winning as well, too. But I was pretty happy with my prediction. My article, I feel like I really freaking nailed it. And I was really happy with that for sure. Alberto Soto in the house saying, "What up, fam? Where does Purdy stand now?" Yeah, I mean, I don't do my formal prediction until all the games are done for the week. So it'll be tonight or tomorrow morning. But I mean, it's got to be at least 3-6. I was 4-7 last week. It's got to be up to at least 3-6 now. After those three throws were just incredible. Like I said, the deep throws to Debo, to Ayuk, to Kittle. And there were some other nice throws in the game too. That's not all there was, but those were the ones that were some. I mean, I tweeted out right after the one to Debo. I was like, that was like 50 air yards because he threw it from like our 35 to their 15. Now, granted, that wasn't the line of scrimmage, so it wasn't a 50-yard pass in the air, but it was 50 air yards from where he threw the ball to where it was caught. And that's not even kind of the diagonal part. So it was actually a little more than 50 air yards. That was just on the lines that they were throwing on. But yeah, I'm definitely going to bump him up a little bit. And like I said, when I say there's maybe 4 elite quarterbacks, if he is 3, 4, 5, 6, then it's 50-50 that he's elite or not elite. Again, I think I just need to see more time. If he keeps playing like this, he's elite. Let's just say it. If he keeps playing like this, he's elite. That especially with consistency, because other quarterbacks some will flash as brightly or brighter, but then they have games where they don't look as good. I mean, we've all seen people beating up Josh Allen. I stood by him all the time saying he was elite. He's starting to look elite again. But anyway, I don't want to go into too many topics at once here. Let me just get through the chat real quick. Bryant Culp in the house. Make sure you check out his channel. Smash the like button. Everyone subscribe to both channels. That's a good reminder. We're streaming to both channels. If you're on TED Talks Ball, make sure you check out Niners DNA. Give Pedro a like and subscribe over there. Same thing if you're on Pedro's channel. Give me a like and subscribe. If you're watching on a browser, make sure you open up 2 tabs and watch us both at the same time. It really helps. And I will do that myself here. So I practice what I preach. Main thing is just make sure that you mute one of them. Otherwise, it can get a little bit confusing. But Pedro, give me some of your thoughts on some of these things. I mean, I think you already were ahead of me on Purdy being elite.
Yeah, look, I think Purdy's the best quarterback in the NFL at this point. I think he's playing the best football at the moment. I think Jalen Hurts is limited, as we saw. I think Patrick Mahomes is on a little bit of a slide. I'm not saying that he's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that, but I think at this point in time. On the weekend, Brock Purdy was the best quarterback in the NFL over the weekend. So, and it comes down for me to his timing. It comes down to his as we were talking about. That was his third read, and I love Bryant for which. How good is Mitch on that run? But that was his third read that passed to Debo, and how quick, and the ball was out of his hands in what, 3.5 seconds? Would you say?
It was pretty quick. He had enough time to kind of double clutch it.
Yeah.
But, because I would just rewatch. It's about the only thing I've rewatched from the game because I went straight to that play to make our banner for the show today, and then also, to put it into my avatar and my banner for Twitter X profile as well too. So that's all that play. It was pretty quick. He did have really good protection. He was obviously able to really step into the ball. But yeah, like you said, it was like right in the breadbasket. Debo never had to break stride. It was just like a perfect strike, a perfect dime. Just a beautiful high arcing throw, a raindrop, if you will, just right into Debo's hands. And Debo just never, the defenders never. It was Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, both their safeties, never had a chance to catch him.
No.
It's beautiful for sure.
No.
Mitch is definitely elite. He did put one through the end zone for a touchback. I was a little disappointed. I was starting to get used to like inside the 10 every time, but that's not realistic.
I was disappointed in that.
It just shows how good he is that, when you get a touchback, you're like, oh, Jesus, Mitch, come on, man. That's not like you.
I know.
He's been
and
insanity.
What I liked was that about Mitch was that he didn't hesitate. He saw that he had the opportunity. He knew that, the edge had gotten to him too fast. He took off. Someone was saying, and I was just looking at this was some videos on Twitter this morning, that he reached 20 miles an hour. I don't know if that's true or not. George Kittle was saying, I cannot believe that.
I can believe 20. I could believe Debo. I could believe even 21 because Trey Lance got over 21 miles an hour, and I think Debo top speed is not too far off from Trey Lance or Kittle. I mean, I think Kittle's a little slower. He's a 4.53 40. Debo's a 4.48. So, but yeah, I could see Debo hitting 21. Somebody told me 22 recently, and I was like, no. I don't see Debo ever hitting over 22 miles an hour, but over 20.
I think that was me last week saying 22.
Yeah, 21.
I heard it from someone.
Maybe even 21.5, maybe, but not 22 for Debo. I mean, maybe, but if you find it, definitely hit me up and prove me wrong. I would love to be wrong for sure. That would be pretty cool.
Well, the other thing, which I think is you're right within what you said in your article, is that see, a lot of people like I like watching the Cone Zone with Lowell and Grant. I really like Lowell, and he was saying that they were going to obliterate the Seahawks, and I didn't think they were. And when they were in front, I was like, this is a trap. And within my Aussie 49ers group, I was saying, this is a trap game, boys. We've got to be careful here. There's one guy in the chat that's just so like, no, we can't be beaten. I was like, mate, his name's Eddie. I'm like, Eddie, come on. They're not great, but it's a divisional game. Anything could happen. And so, like that. The thing is that I think we all need to. But I'd love to get your thoughts on this too, Ted. Based on your, the theory of, the Philadelphia coming off that into, your thoughts into the Seattle game. But then we got Arizona. We got Arizona this week, yeah.
Yes, the Cardinals.
Yeah, and they're coming off a bye. We have some injuries, so I'm trying to look here. I'll do a Twitter search in a moment, but usually Lombardi has it, which is the injury updates. If anyone in the chat has some injury updates for us, because I know Hargrave had a hamstring, Severius Ward with his groin. What else was there?
That was only two that I saw during the game, but I wasn't paying attention afterwards. So
Kinlaw with a hip, but he came back on.
Ooh, I know that Dre Greenlaw hurt his ankle, and he he stayed down for a second, but then he came right back and played like a play later. So they didn't have to do a timeout for him or anything like that. But I'm sure there could have been more that I didn't see. But the two big ones were Ward and Hargrave for me.
Yeah.
And Kinlaw, that's a bummer because with Hargrave and Armstead out, Kinlaw's our best defensive tackle now.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. And the other thing I liked about yesterday, did you see some of the stunts they were putting Bosa in at defensive tackle, just doing a couple of little things like that? I thought that Seattle did. There was a couple of things that Seattle did yesterday to get the sack on Purdy, which worried me a little bit because it's a little bit of a I thought it was a little bit of a blueprint where I think they got it was in the third quarter, and it was to get who's their journeyman who's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's a linebacker. What's his name?
They got you talking about the Eagles?
Yeah. No, I'm talking about yesterday.
They got Shaq Leonard.
No, this is for the Seahawks. You know, we went to the
Bobby
Rams
Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner, right?
Yeah, because he was a long-time Seahawk. He went to the Rams for 1 year, and now he's back with the Seahawks. So yeah.
Yeah, so they set up a stunt where he was able to circle back and hit him and sack him, pretty much untouched. And so I thought that was a little bit, that was a way in which a lot of people, I think defensive coordinators would have taken notice of. But I also thought that that touchdown to the tight end that the Seahawks that was drawn up, I thought that was a really great play too. That was a really nice
one of
play.
our plays. They used one of our plays. Colby Parkinson out of Stanford. He's tall, and he was wide open. Saying the center of our defense was looking like mush without, Armstead, Hargrave. I think Dre might have been out right then, and Huff and Hufanga. I was like, oh man, that's a lot of guys out of the middle of the D to be missing. So, Kyler's been back for a few games.
Yeah, he's been back. What is James asking? Who does your game ball to guys? What does that mean?
Deebo Samuel.
So Deebo Samuel
or Purdy, one or the other, Deebo or Purdy.
What do you mean? Do they hand them out or?
Yeah, absolutely. They hand them out in the locker room after the game, like game
ball. He's asking us who the game boy, the man of the match was yesterday. Who do you say?
I said Deebo and or Purdy.
Yeah, man. I've got to say Purdy. Deebo's getting back into the shape that he was back in 2019, 20.
Or 2021.
2021, I should say.
Receiving yards, yeah.
Yeah.
His contract, the year he got paid, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's starting to look like that again the last 3 games.
He has.
He's been lighting it up.
He came back really fit, got injured, and then took him a couple of games to get back into game shape, and now he's just lighting it up. You're right. But yeah.
I said all along, I love Ayuk. He gets the yards kind of against the easy teams, but when push comes to shove in like a playoff type atmosphere against playoff type teams, Deebo is the guy you want with the ball in your hand, with his hand. He's the one. He's the difference maker. He's the one that, like they said in Thanksgiving against the Seahawks, he's like the guy rarely ends up tackled, except for when they horse collared him in that game yesterday, and they didn't call the horse collar. They picked up the flag. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? That was so obviously a horse collar. The way he went down, he just got yanked backwards. Yeah. And oh yeah, no foul, because they wanted it to be a closer game. That's why they knew we were about to blow them out.
Oh, dude, mate, it is. They're morally bankrupt, man. Some of those refs. It's unbelievable that it can be happening in the NFL. You guys probably. We've got our ref. Anyway, I don't want to go into that, but yeah, I thought the referees yesterday were in some instances were atrocious, especially in that when Mitch took that run, he slipped over. Ronnie Bell slipped over.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing for me on the whole thing. It's like Mitch already had the first down when the illegal block happened, and then they had the offsetting penalty, the late hit out of bounds, and it's just like, I just wish they did it like turnovers, where like, oh, the penalty happened after the turnover. You retain possession of the ball, and then you assess the penalty on the next drive, rather than like same thing, like you got the first, penalize us against the first down. But anyway, bottom line is they don't have that distinction, and it's the letter of the law. It was an illegal block. It was just stupid by our guy because, like I said, Mitch had already had the first down. It was just like, I think in his mind, he's like, maybe if I get this block, we'll spring Mitch for the TD, right? I mean, because it was almost to that point if that other help guy hadn't got there. But
yeah,
anyway, bottom line, I was mad, but I mean, I also, like I said, I do think it was an illegal block. So I was sort of more mad at our guy for doing it. Real quick, though, like Sentinel saying, Lowell said they were going to kill him, and he was right. Dude, we did not kill them. We won by 12 points. We were losing 10-7 in that game. So that we did not kill them. And no, we didn't. I mean, we had a comfy lead at the end, but killing them would have been covering, which was 13.5 when I wrote the article and 14 at game time. So, I think it would have been more than coverings, right? It would have been like 17 points or 20.
I was still nervous in the fourth quarter because there was only a 2-score game.
Look at Franco.
What's that?
I heard Mitch at 22 miles per hour. Bryant. Oh, like, God love you with your special teams love. You're just too good. Too good. That's classic, though. Thank you, Brian. I needed a good chuckle. Mitch is not slow, and he definitely knows how to hit for sure.
Well, he's an Aussie, man.
22 mph. I'd be shocked if he hit 20.5, let alone 22. But hey, and he also said, I think Tabor Peppers is mid. I think this is a poke at me from saying that Purdy was mid this last off season.
Yeah, I love Tabor Pepper.
Tabor Pepper, yeah, you gotta love him. He was up on the jumbotron during the game. My buddy's if I go to the games, he's like, who is that? I'm like, oh, that's Tabor Pepper. He's like, oh, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's a great follow on social media. If you don't follow him, definitely.
I've got to do that.
Oh yeah, he is funny. They were doing like a burrito tour in the off season, and with Moody showing them around San Jose and the South Bay, where to go to get all the best salsas and hot sauce and burritos and tacos and whatnot. So. It's key knowledge here in the Silicon Valley for sure. We also want to call out Jason, Captain Niner Massey in the house. He always leads with Talofa Faithful, which means hello faithful. And he told me already, I forgot if it was Tongan or Samoan.
Is Jason, Captain Niner Massey, is he Samoan, is he, or Tongan?
I think he must be a Polynesian Islander.
So just for
I'm going to say Samoan just because it's a bigger country and so more likely to be that, but we'll see.
Yeah, nice. So just chatting to let's say I'll call him Jason. We down here, mate, we play a thing called NRL, which is the National Rugby League. And there's probably it's like 55% Polynesians, lots of Samoans, lots of Tongans who play rugby league down here, mate. My eldest son, who's 15, a lot of his friends are Tongan and Samoan who he plays his sport with. But anyway, that's an aside.
There you go. James Ronaldo said Purdy or Demo for the game ball. DK didn't get a sniff when Ward went off the field. That's interesting for sure. Rumor has it the refs are still discussing if Bosa was offside. Dude, he was offside. He was it twice in that game? At least once.
It was a long conversation.
He's definitely got a lot, but God bless him. He's getting sacks and I'm just so proud of him against the Eagles for doing the mush rush, for being, we had concerns talking about if we could contain Jalen Hurts and if our D-line could be, disciplined to maintain their gap integrity and not let outside release. And we let Lockett get outside a few times, but he just Locke from the Seahawks, but he couldn't. Drew Lock, he couldn't do much though with it. He's not fast like Jalen Hurts, obviously, but he was definitely offsides. Do you think the fake punt is going to be inserted in the playbook after seeing Mitch move? Kyle has never called it one, and it wasn't called yesterday by the sounds of Kyle.
Yeah, definitely wasn't called by Kyle.
I hope so. I love to see him get a little more ballsy. I mean, especially after that
Aye.
fake punt ruined us in Seattle.
Remember
You
that
know,
punt? Remember last year?
it was it last year. Was it COVID year? I thought it was 2020 in
Oh, it
Seattle.
was the COVID year. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of bad special teams. We had like our kick returner fumbled in that game I was talking about where I was at Levi's. Then he
Yeah.
fumbled again in Seattle, and we ended up getting a safety on that one. It was a TD at Levi's and a safety at Lumen. And yeah, I would love to see more of it, but I don't. This just doesn't seem like Kyle's style. He's just by the book, button down, do the safe thing. We'll see. Got a $20 super sticker from Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate
Very
it.
nice.
You're too generous. Man, unbelievable generosity from Nancy Cameron. Easily my biggest contributor. And wow, it does not go unnoticed. And it's so helpful. Have to use it to buy something for Nancy back, I think, at this point, because I can't take too much money from you, Nancy. It's just not right. We do love our rugby, said Jason. Yeah. That's outstanding. He said out, but it was our. There we go.
Yeah.
So yes.
Sorry, mate. I'm on the This is for yesterday. I'm trying to find an up-to-date injury report. Obviously, it's Eric Armstead, Spencer Burford, Ross Dwelly, Daryl Luter Jr., Elijah Mitchell, Trent Williams, Ray McClellan.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell was a little surprising because it was like CMC peeled off that huge run the first play of the game. It's funny. We got the ball, and I'm like, give the ball, run it to CMC. Just pound it. And sure enough, they hand it to him. He almost goes the distance. And we thought it was a TD at first, or while a lot of the fans thought, and I was like, And then they said we're going to review it, or then they called him short. I'm like, yeah, he did look like he was kind of short. And then we're thinking, I saw CMC needed a breather, obviously after that huge long run. And then Mason comes out. And I'm like, well, wait a second. I thought Kyle said the only way we'd see Mason is if CMC and Mitchell were injured. Sure enough, Mitchell was injured. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention to the injury report before the game, since I was tailgating there and not like hawking the Twitter and X before the game. But that was a surprise to me to not see Elijah Mitchell, because he definitely wasn't injured after the Seahawks game. It must have happened during practice last week, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh my God. I'm just on Matt Barrows now. He's like, what's his name?
Got Shardal Gupta in the house, SG Sports Talk channel. Check him out. Check out his channel. Saying hi to James, hi to Bryant.
You know what was upsetting for me yesterday was that was one of the best passes that Purdy threw yesterday to Ayuk, and he just was a little bit. It's hard. You can probably say careless with the ball, because he dropped it because the guy came in with a pretty good tackle from the back. But yeah, it would have been nice for that to come onto Brandon Ayuk's stat line, but yeah, disappointed for him.
Nancy says to use the money to buy Ford a car. Yeah, Ford has a lot of toys for sure, but he definitely has had his eye on this. I'm going to see if I can post it in the chat here. Change it to me, and we'll try this. There's this thing on Amazon, and what we do is we'll go through Amazon and we'll look at you probably have to copy and paste it into your browser, and we'll look at toys, and we'll look at the videos about the toys. And this particular one is like a police mobile command center with like cars and a police station and helicopter and planes and everything. And because it's not actually Lego, it's like some knockoff brand. It's like only $55, whereas like with Legos, you could get something smaller and only one of like the 8 pieces they give you for this thing for like $55. And supposedly it's pretty compatible with Lego, where most of the pieces will interchange, because it'd be a bummer to get the cheaper one, then you have to keep all the pieces separate from the Legos that we already have. If they don't work together, then it's a no-go. But anyway, that's probably what it'll be, Nancy. So thank you very much.
It's very
But
nice.
let's see here. Everybody's just saying hi. James Renault is saying these guys are still convinced that they can play better than this. They blew out the Cowboys. We're getting monster runs and chunk plays galore. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely still room for improvement. They're not playing as well as they could. I would have to agree with that. They're still leaving a little bit on the table, but whether they can, I don't know, the people who aren't quite playing 100% can get to 100% without other people's dropping off. That'll be the tough question, but we'll see. How's it going, Shardall? It's going better now that you're here, so thank you.
Here we go. Carl Shanahan fares. Yvonne Hargrave suffered a pulled hamstring. I'm still not getting.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when he came out of the game. I tweeted it, Hargrave hammy, and then I tweeted that he had gone into the blue tent.
The other thing too is that I think Jason Barrett has signed to the practice squad. Is that right?
Who?
Jason Barrett.
Oh yeah, I saw that yesterday. Yeah. Yep. Probably because we elevated the wide receiver to cover for Ray McLeod, who ended up on IR from his rib injury. The one I liked a lot, Conley. I was surprised that Conley honestly did. Conley was a training camp show out at wide receiver. He's like a journeyman wide receiver around the NFL. He's tall, he's fast. I forget his first name, but I honestly thought he would make the 50. Chris Conley. I thought he would make the 53. So because he's been elevated from the practice squad to the 53, then that made room for Verrett. And probably more people coming soon, depending on how long these injuries are. So Shardall saying hi to you. He said,
"Hey, buddy. How you going, mate?"
James was saying yesterday the Niners team will spoil all future teams. We are never going to have it better than this. I mean, we're never going to have more weapons than this. That's for damn sure. We're never going to have more accompanying pieces. The only thing is that maybe Purdy can continue to improve. It's hard to see how he could get much better than he is, but damn, I mean,
I agree with James.
Like 22 games, so maybe he can. The guy is, I did say all offseason when I said he was mid. I did say all offseason that he was a mental giant, and that is definitely coming true. The guy just makes great decisions. He's got big cojones, and he's not afraid to put them on the table and ride and just go with the tougher plays and not just check down Charlie like some people used to know. So
my dilemma, Ted, is it's not a dilemma. It's that I don't think we have a better opportunity than this season to win the Super Bowl, and I've just got to buy tickets and get over there somehow.
There you go. You got to do it. It's so funny that I stream with two people who have never been to a 49ers game. Yourself, and then also Aaron from 49ers First Takes. He lives out on the East Coast in Rochester, New York, and I don't know that he's never been to a Niner game either. Levi's or away, he's probably had opportunities easier back east than coming all the way out here to the West Coast. But yeah, same thing. And you guys are two of my best people I work with, which is incredible. It just shows you don't have to go to the games to. No,
of course not. Of course not. But yeah, I just cannot. I just think it's ours to. That's what I called the stream today's stream. It's the Super Bowl is ours to lose.
There you go. Shardall says he likes my visor and jersey. Thanks. It's a Steve Young. 96 is the 50th year anniversary in 96. And the visor, yeah, I've upped my visor game. I had a couple to start out with last year, a white one and a black one, and then I've added a bunch more since. But if you ever see a cool visor, send me the link. I'll probably add it. You can see it on the show. I'm always on the lookout for good 49ers visors. So he also asked how long you've been living in Australia.
I am Australian, mate. I've lived here my whole life,
but
I did live in America, mate. I lived in Tahoe, a little place called Truckee, for I did 3 seasons, and I ended up living there for almost for 2 years.
There you go. So I look like Guy Fieri from the Food Network. All right, it's time for a diet. But I'll take it. Hey, at least he's famous. There you go. Randy's saying hello down there. Down under.
Well, I'm in the future. It's 9:35 a.m. on Tuesday down here,
That's
and
right.
so I watch the first thing I do on a Tuesday morning here is put on Good Morning Football and watch the Monday's episode of Good Morning Football.
Nice. Interesting. Brian's asking if Chardall still works for Great America. I didn't even know he worked there. That's cool. Nancy says, how fun to the quasi Lego building blocks. Yeah, this very cool. Winter season right now. All right. SWAT truck. Yeah, SWAT is definitely, he's really into police cars. I think I mentioned, well, you missed it, Pedro, last week. My son got bit by a squirrel when we were he got bit by a squirrel when we were running the RC cars at this park in Palo Alto. And, it drew a little bit of blood, but it turned out to be fine.
You have to get a shot?
No, because it wasn't just like the squirrel came up to him out of nowhere. He had a little Tupperware full of crackers. These little round Ritz, not Ritz, but the smaller than Ritz, round crackers with cheese in between, like little cracker sandwiches. And so the squirrel was coming up to, get a snack from him, because I'm sure other people feed them at this park. The squirrels are everywhere around there. And anyway, I said, Ford, when you reached out to pet him, he probably thought you were trying to kill him. And so he bit you, he bit you to protect himself, to save his own life. You can't be mad at a squirrel for doing what their instincts tell them to do. Yeah. And he said, no, Daddy, I was trying to kill him. I didn't want to share my crackers with him. I thought it was hilarious. But obviously scary. I worried about rabies. I went back, I looked at the squirrel. The squirrel was just chilling. He was totally normal. He wasn't like foaming at the mouth or coming at me or anything, or coming at any other people. It was, so it wasn't like he was rabid or anything like that. And I guess rabies is very uncommon amongst squirrels. It's just a little scary because if you're wrong, you're dead essentially. But we talked to the pediatricians about it, and they said, like, basically you would get bite site, infection. You'd have flu symptoms. There would be things before it became deadly and uncurable. There would be other warning signs which never manifested. So it turned out to be fine. But I mean, there was some blood and, some heartbreak. And he was like, Daddy, get that policeman and tell him to put the squirrel in jail. And I was like, oh, well, son, we can't be mad at the squirrel for doing his instincts. So like I said, and I said, basically, look, hey, buddy, you learned a couple of really good lessons today. Never get close to wild animals, never feed wild animals, but also one that we've been already trying to hammer down with them a long time before this, which is don't eat when you play, don't play when you eat. Eat your food, then go play. If you didn't have the crackers while you were playing, this never would have happened. And so hopefully some of that stuff sunk in. We'll see. But interesting stuff for sure. So the SWAT truck police stuff, he's huge on all that. And that's probably his favorite stuff. Also, with the remotes, if we can make them into police cars, then that's going to be the winning combination, I think, with the RC cars. He says, cars are super expensive and wind up owning you. You should get a motorcycle for Ford. You have a Kawasaki Ninja from the 80s. Randy's like Top Gun here on his Ninja.
Top Gun.
Yeah. But do you have Kelly McGillis on the back? That's the big question. Thing is, Randy, best of luck to you on that. But if I can help it, my son will never ride a motorcycle. My dad's was an orthopedic surgeon. He's retired now. And he always, he showed me a lot of the people he put back together after motorcycle accidents. And the problem with motorcycles is there's no such thing as a fender bender. Every time you crash, you end up on the ground. And when you're on the ground, a lot of times you end up under vehicles and you end up getting dragged, and it can be very ugly, so always wear a helmet, but that only protects your head. Wear leathers, wear boots, wear as much armor as you can get away with. Like I said, I hope Ford never rides one, but I can see the allure. They are super fun. I totally get it. It's just like, I hope if he ever rides a motorcycle, it's like a motocross one off-road, not where there's cars and trucks and other things that can just smush you around. So I started working at Great America in 2017. Nice. So you're a vet after 7 years there, it looks like. Chardol got 187 in the house. He says MV Purdy. Purdy's, yeah, he was in the lead last week for the MVP. That can only be strengthened this week. Well, I guess it's him and Dak, right? I mean, because Dak just beat the Eagles too. So, I mean, I suppose Dak has a stake to the claim as well. He also has the touchdown lead. They don't run the ball as well as we do in Dallas, so they rely on Dak's arm more. Dak also has a much better offensive line, which I said earlier in the season when they lost to the Cards. I was like, hey, 4 out of 5 of their own linemen are out. And like, they all came back versus us ostensibly, but they weren't playing then like they're playing now. I mean, Terrence Smith, their left tackle, is up there with the tackle from the Lions. I think it was the one who was drafted right after Trey Lance as the 2 highest rated tackles in the NFL right now for pass blocking, I want to say. Because obviously Trent Williams is the best tackle overall because of his run blocking. Sentinels football saying yes. I'm not sure. Maybe that was to MV Purdy. Bryant, you should come to Great America. I think we should all go to Great America. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. Roller coasters. As long as you don't get too motion sick, you should be fine. I was just saying hi. What's up? Let's see here. Randy says Verrett was signed. I hope Ward is okay. Yeah, I don't think they're related. I think they had an eye on Verrett for a while. We've been looking at Verrett for a week or two, right?
Verrett's a great corner, but he's just got the injury bug.
I think he's just a flyer. And then somebody was saying, I think it was Grant Cohn was saying, look, we signed Logan Ryan. It's like, warning shots to Jair Brown. And I was like, I didn't say anything on the timeline, but I was thinking to myself, no. Jair Brown is doing fine.
He's doing fine.
Real well. He even had some big plays on Sunday, too. He had a pick. That's right. On Sunday. So
he had
a
more. I thought there was a start.
Logan Ryan is just depth. He's just just because we lost Huff, we lost George Odom, and so we just needed some safety depth in case Jair Brown gets hurt. But I don't think it's like to put Jair Brown on the hot seat. I disagree with that take last week, let alone after the game Sunday.
If you probably would have seen that he tried, like Huff has got that great stunt where he just rushes the quarterback on one of the blitz plays, and JB tried the same thing, but I think he just didn't have that balance whereby he kind of shut at the short step as he got closer to the quarterback, so that because all Luck did was just step to his left and got out of the way. So but it's good to see that he is trying to emulate a little bit of what Huff did for us, because that was one of the greatest attributes I thought that Huff did bring to that O-line. That D-line sometimes was those rushes on some of those stunts that he used to do just to get to the, to put that extra pressure on the quarterback to get the ball out quicker, which sometimes led to a tip ball or not a sack, an intercept.
There you go. Randy says his great grandfather was named Pedrico, Peter in Cuba. And
that's right.
Randy, by the way, for those who don't know, was the one who named the show that I voted for Pedro.
That's right.
Thank you to Randy Daytona for that, my friend. What else? Does Great America still have an old wooden roller coaster, the Mountain? I thought it was called the Grizzly. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Grizzly's still there and it's steel. I don't know. but I forget. I haven't been in a while myself. Corey, R.I.P. to Corey Davis, who passed on last week. Absolutely. We had a 49 seconds of silence in our last show for him. Absolutely. God, that sucks. I got to see my first at Candlestick. Yeah, it's too bad it's gone. No matter about it. Called the Gold Striker. Oh, okay. Interesting. Didn't know that. Maybe they renamed it. We'll do a GoFundMe. There you go.
Thanks, Nancy. But we're all good. I'll
Why
I'll
not?
get there.
Hey, if people want to contribute, you never know. That'd be awesome. Spelled Shardall, not Shardall. Oh, okay. There we go. It's still working. I love the Top Gun. Now that one's like the one where you hang down below it, I think, if I recall correctly. But drop in the end zone still scares it out of me. The drop zone. Oh yeah, that's where it goes all the way up, and then just drops you down.
Yeah.
Just like the floor drops out of it. It's brutal. I haven't been a Great American in many years myself. That's true. Real quick, I should probably do a quick commercial break. Yep. Show is brought to you by the Travelstead Group, the retail and hospitality logistics company. They do transportation and warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions. From the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between, Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you via air, ocean, or land. They do closed-loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the go-to guys there, and they have 100% U.S.-based support because these are complex operations. There's usually fine-tuning, if not snafus. It's good to know when you pick up the phone, you'll will not end up in a call center overseas where they have no clue what you do. Check out the link in the description. Give it a click. Check out the video. And be sure you tell them that Ted sent you. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate it. It's also in my Twitter and X bio, my Instagram or Facebook as well. So just wherever you follow me, click the link and check it out. Thanks for letting me pay the bills, folks. And thank you, Pedro.
That's a pleasure, mate. Anyone in the chat got any injury updates from Kyle Shanahan's call this morning? I know he does one. He does a conference call. If anyone's got it, yeah, I'd love to know. Want to really know.
Randy says the best coaster is Busch Gardens in Virginia, the Loch Ness Monster. Interesting. I heard they have like 10 great roller coasters there. Oh, Shardall says I love Vertigo. Let's talk about theme parks. He says he loves police cars. Jeez, I must be behind in the chat here. Let me scoot down to the bottom and I'll work my way up. Randy saying Bryant. See the news at 5 a.m. Everything everyone says all day, I've already heard. Well, unless there's an update. Pretty sure it's 7. The Grizzly is wood. The Demon is metal. All right, good. I thought the Grizzly was wood. Nice. Not losing it completely. Said, I thought Montana had 8 games at 70% completions. I think he's one behind. Yeah, this is maybe true, but, you know, it was very different when Montana did it, where he wasn't protected. You could hit him high. You could hit him low. You could pile drive him a couple seconds after the play. You know, you could take receivers' heads off over the middle. This is very different. So, like, I don't care if Brock beats what Montana did statistically. That doesn't make him Montana. But, you know, win a couple Super Bowls or 3, you know, then I might have that conversation. But Brock is playing the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I will say that.
Yeah, 100%.
If he keeps it up, I'll call him elite. You have to. If he keeps it up. So we'll see. Low Jackson in the house, says Randy. That's dope. 49ers fans worldwide. I guess I missed something. Oh, Low, Pedro is my co-host, and he is Australian. He's coming to us from Sydney. He's coming to us from the future. It's coming up on 10 a.m. in Sydney, 9:49 a.m. in Sydney.
That's exactly what it is, Ted.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
We definitely have good worldwide support. James Renal in the chat's coming to us from the UK. We have a fair number of international folks that chime in, no doubt about it. The 49ers Faithful UK stops by from time to time. Paul Hope and Lee Gowland. They're the ones who had me to the Bucks game, to the gold mine. That was a lot of fun for sure. Should we set a date to take over Great America? There you go. Make it red. Make it loud. That's good. We're better now that you're here, Lo. That's for sure. He's a big fan of Steve Young. I am too. The man and the player, both. Thoughts on Travis Kelce? Well, if Taylor Swift's not there, he's kind of not really himself, is he? I didn't watch the game he had against the Bills. I've got it recorded on my DVR, so I am planning to watch it. But, I mean, Kittle is the highest ranked tight end as of last week.
I was going to say that. And Lombardi put a stat up this morning. I'll see if I can just go back to it about how he's overtaken Kelce. Quick question. How do you access your football over there, Ted? You don't have like a subscription to anything, or what? How does it work?
I have cable, so I get like every 49ers game every week.
Right.
And I get probably 2 or 3 other games. I get 2 other games during the day. So I'll get, like, if we're playing the late window, I'll get 2 in the morning, and then they don't play anything to compete with the 49er game in the afternoon. And then I get Sunday night, I get Monday, and I get Thursday. But like, if I want to watch other teams, a lot of times I'll watch Red Zone, or if it's like a really good game and I want to just focus on the game, I've been known to use, I don't know if I should even talk about it, but like, streaming that's maybe not so reputable. Just make sure you use a VPN if you do that, folks.
We've all used
because
VPN.
They're full of malware. But I try to keep that to a minimum. Chardal wants to get a picture taken. We'll have to do that, Chardal. Absolutely. I'm like a celebrity. Oh gosh, I don't know about that. That's sweet. You have to be a maverick to ride a bike responsibly. Yeah, no doubt. You have to use a lot of anticipation of what other people are going to do, and even then, people just do weird stuff. People just don't really look for motorcycles because you're not much of a threat to a car. Thanks, Chardal. I've definitely been working on the man cave here, the fan cave for actually a little over a year since I've been streaming. Haven't done a ton to it recently. Over here on the side, my our son's nanny gave me the Dias de los Muertos 49ers sign there, and then my wife got me this cool TED Talks ball medallion that I wear to the games now. I just got to get a QR code for it so people can just scan it and sub without having to type anything in or anything, because you know how people are, they're lazy. They don't want to have to type anything more than they have to.
Not anymore.
But she got me that for my anniversary, and I was like, man, what a cool gift. And she's like, well, it's kind of a joke. I didn't think you were like wear it to every game. I'm like, yeah, well, I am. Maybe more than that. We'll see. I might have to start wearing it when I pick my son up from school. We'll see. You got to get those subs up somehow, you know. Do we really have to have Debo returning our kicks? Our injury history to that position isn't good. It's like we're asking for it.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
You go first.
Yeah, look, he's pretty explosive, but I don't want anything, especially with the way that we're playing at the moment, the position that we're in, number 1 seed, injuries on the D-line starting to get a little bit concerning. I definitely don't want to be putting any, like, it's a low percentage play, right? Like, I think all kicks, if they are going to go over the end zone, I think they should just be left, because we get the ball back on the 25. And there's so many variables that can go wrong when any player is returning a kick in terms of injuries to the person who's returning the kick. And Debo is so important to this offense, not just when he gets the ball, but as a threat. People double team him and really, really concentrate their coverage when Debo is on the line of scrimmage. So, James, I'm with you on that. 100% agree. Let's stick with Ronnie Bell.
Yeah,
until Ray comes back.
I agree. I mean, if it's like, the Eagles game last week, I was down for it. If it's a playoff game, I'm down for it. A playoff game or a playoff type opponent contender, maybe, sure. But yeah, otherwise, it's people. The thing that some people don't realize about special teams is there's a lot of people on special teams that are fringe players, and they are just looking to make the team or make a name for themselves. And they're willing to do things that are, let's say, a little bit less than ethical in order to do that. So there's much higher probability of somebody going for a headshot, going for a knee shot, going for a cheap shot, God, what did I just talk about? I'm blanking
Horse
out.
collar.
Horse collar. Thank you. Horse collar tackle. These are all very dangerous plays. A face mask. So it's a much higher probability, I think, that a special teamer will do that than a top defender, where they have more of a reputation to uphold. So, yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I would like to see less of Debo doing returns. So hopefully we can do that. Somebody mentioned Jameson, but Jameson, he's gone. We didn't sign him to the 53-man roster, and someone else picked him up. The corner out of Texas, who was real good. We basically chose Isaiah Oliver over Jameson, sadly. So, but Isaiah Oliver, God bless him, he didn't hurt us on Sunday. At least not. I kept saying, watch him. That's where I'd go. I'd throw right at Isaiah Oliver, and maybe it's just because it was Drew Lock, they couldn't really capitalize on it, but. Knock on wood, he played better than I thought he would when Mooney Ward went down. So,
yeah,
they're liking on your Volcom hat.
Thank you.
What else we got? Okay, I think we're basically almost caught up here with moving upwards, but I know we're getting short on time.
Yeah,
about 3 minutes. I mean, everybody make sure you check out Peter's channel, Niners DNA. Let me get out of this chat here. I don't know where it is. There we go. So you can see he's at Pete D. Burge on Twitter and X at Niners DNA. The link is in the description for the show, so click it, give him a like and subscribe. Same thing if you've been on Pedro's channel. Get over to me, give me a like and subscribe. It really helps. And what were your final thoughts before we get
final thoughts is that the Baltimore game is probably the one that we're going to be the most concerned about, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's stick to Arizona. I think Arizona, again, will be a game that we need to be very mindful of. I don't think, with Kyler back, he has given us fits before. It's just one of those, it's any given Sunday, and I think the number one seed will be very, very, very important in the NFC this year. I would hate for the Dallas Cowboys to have it. They've got probably the hardest schedule going in. Philadelphia's probably got the easiest. And we've probably, out of those three teams, probably the hardest schedules going in is probably goes Dallas, us, and then Philadelphia. So I just think we just got to, ensure that we really get that number one seed so we can have the home field advantage all the way to the Super Bowl. So really stoked at the way that we're playing. I think Brock Purdy's playing the best. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. His weapons are insane. Kyle's in his bag. Loving being a Niner fan, and obviously love that my Tuesday mornings down here in Sydney talking to you, Ted.
There you go. It's been a lot of fun. Real quick, Joe Stevens chiming in. He was capping on Jamal Adams last week. I'll have to go back and rewatch the game, Joe. I mean, I will say in the banner for the show and my banner on Twitter and X, that's who Debo beat. It was Jamal Adams. He was on the coverage because Debo came out of the backfield actually on the big TD pass. He was to Purdy's right, and then he went left as he went out into the pattern. And Jamal Adams was beat and never caught up. But I don't know. Everybody was just saying he looks big and thick and too slow, too muscly. All that makes sense. I'll have to rewatch the game though from the TV to get a better idea of it. But I'll take it under advisement, Joe, and I trust your opinion on it. You're a Seahawks fan, so you would know better than me if he's really not good. He can't even tackle anymore. That's not good when your box safety can't tackle, and he's so expensive and so many draft picks. Real shame. Damn. Sorry, Seahawks. Although I will say it's getting harder and harder to hate the Seahawks now that we're 5-0 against them since Russ left. They might be dropping out of my most hated spot. I might go back to being the Cowboys, especially since I picked us to face the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game before the season started. I reiterated that before the Cowboys game. Boy, I'm looking like Nostratetti after that one last night, because it's looking like us and the Cowboys right now. But we'll see. We'll see.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go to Cowboy Land, or whatever you call it. What's the guy who runs
World?
Jerry's World? Yeah, Cowboy Land. I don't want to go to Jerry's World for the NFC Championship. Hell no.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No, we need to keep. We got the number 1 seed. We need to keep it here, folks. We got to win out. We got to beat the Ravens. That's the big one. Hopefully, Hargrave and Ward are back, and Armstead are all back. Because missing them for the Cards, I think we can handle the Cards without them. Missing them for the Ravens, I've been saying all along, if we don't have the number 1 D, then the Ravens do. I know we have the number 1 D statistically, but the Ravens might actually be a little bit better. We'll see on defense. Our offense is definitely better. But thanks, everybody. Peace.
Thank you.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.